You need to head up and down, right? Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, here we go.
Jason Christian is working with a star-studded team at Area 253 Glass in beautiful Tacoma, Washington. Today, the team will be combining their skills to make a red dragon. Jason gathered up a little clear glass out of the furnace. He's going to use that to pick up a leg. Across the marble from Jason, Chris has a chunk of red glass. That red glass is going to get laid on the outside of the dragon's leg.
Oh yeah, you got it.
Jason made the dragon's leg earlier at his own studio back in Seattle. He brought it down to 253 and put it in their pickup oven so he could heat it up and then add this new bit. Again, that's some of the red glass that Chris had earlier. He got it hot and brought it over so that Jason can snip, and then he'll go on to squeeze that down. This will be the armor on the side of the dragon's leg.
We're 15 minutes before everyone's supposed to sit down.
Each of the 4 dragon legs will rest in the garage until it's time to assemble the finished piece together.
Entertainment channel and make more money that way.
The final dragon leg is going to be a little bit different in that it's holding a crystal ball. Jason has gathered up some clear glass. He's starting to lightly separate it from the pipe with the jacks before picking up what we call the marble tool, which is essentially a metal ring on the end of a metal rod. With that tool, he can get a nice round marble shape and then cut it down a little bit more using these Ikebana shears.
Yeah.
Now it's time to add that crystal ball into the dragon's claw.
Have you worked the torch?
Chris gave the ball a little heat. Jason's going to cool the neckline down with his shears. And then he'll break off the ball into these special ring tweezers. He's asked Chris to heat up the break-off area with the oxypropane torch, and then to heat up the center of the dragon's claw before pushing the two together.
The crap out of me lately. I think it's just this, you know. Meditation. Where's that at?
Jason wants those fingers wrapped around the ball.
So in there.
He'll go so far as to grab each individual end after heating it, pulling it out till it gets very thin, snipping or breaking that off to a point, and repeating that process, grabbing the glass, stretching it out into a long point, and then snipping it off.
No, yeah, how could you know?
And he's not just like Russell. You want the whole thing on here, right?
Yeah.
That was the last of the dragon's legs. Now it's time to make the dragon's head.
Lay in one drop.
Chris has some of that red glass. He's brought it over to Randy, who has a clear bubble on the end of a hollow blowpipe. So far, everything we've seen the team make has been solid glass, but this is now a bubble, though it won't stay a bubble for long. Randy rolled the color back over the clear bubble, and now Jason has gone back into the furnace. This is where the liquid clear glass is kept at 2,100 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see the pot in there. It's like a big flower pot being used as a soup bowl.
Right on the sill. That's where Patrick likes it.
Perfect.
In that pot is liquid molten glass. Jason would like to make everything out of pure color, but sometimes that isn't practical. In this case, he wants clear glass over the color, but just a little bit. So he's pulling most of the clear glass off the end.
Don't tell him that.
That clear glass will get recycled and thrown back into the furnace another day.
I don't know. Well, you got a good start going, whatever it is.
So Jason has a bubble. He's going to stretch that bubble out, cut a little notch in the end, and blow. He's working on making a hollow tube. And then he'll make that tube into what we call a snorkel.
Why so droopy?
After opening up the end, Jason has started to bend the tube to an angle.
That's definitely how I like to think of you.
See, I didn't even have to say anything.
Instead of turning while he gathers, he'll put that snorkel down and make a seal with the liquid glass on the surface of the furnace.
People always ask me, will you die if you breathe in? Only when you inhale it, lungs full of hot glass.
He's inhaling, literally sucking the molten glass up into the tube, just like a straw. Can't really turn the glass around too much, but he's letting it drip off so he doesn't trail any glass on the sill of the furnace. He's rolling around on the steel table.
Cannoli, dude, I love it.
You can see that opening in the end, filled with clear glass.
Patrick, moment. Do you have a...
He doesn't want an opening. He wants the color to wrap all the way around. So he's gone with his jacks. He's starting to squeeze the glass down, drawing the color from the sides into the center. He'll go in with his diamond shears and cut that extra glass off. It's still very hot, as we can watch it sink and melt in real time. So now we've got a solid rod of glass. Most of it's clear, but there's a thin layer of red glass on the outside.
Yeah, he is a strange cat. Yeah.
It's time to shape the dragon's head. Jason's using the jacks to press 3 indentations into the circumference of the glass.
Yeah, right?
The next step is to define the mouth of the dragon. Jason will use the flat crimps to round the outer perimeter, and then use the tag to cut a crease in and separate the upper and lower sections of the jaw. The reason he does it this way is because he wants the color to come back with him, instead of cutting with the shears, which would leave a big clear spot on the inside of the dragon's mouth.
Grego and Dash T-Man on fire, so yeah.
Randy, can you hold the pipe real quick?
Jason is very concerned about keeping the dragon's head on center. Even though he knows the dragon is a mythical creature, it will look more realistic if everything is perfectly symmetrical. To create the dragon's snout, Jason will work from the outside and then on the inside with the interior sculpting
Who made the
tools.
first set, Johnny?
Yeah, my oral history of inside working was, first person I ever saw do it was Ruth King.
Oh, really?
And she didn't have any tools but conventional Italian tools. She tied a torch on it, built chuck to the bench, and she would blow hollow that.
And here the team talk about the development of this sort of technique, which is relatively new in the history of glassblowing. Jason uses the torch to spot heat the area he wants to move the most, and then he'll go and slowly push and pull the glass,
These are the things that need to be focused.
coaxing it into the form he has in mind. Jason is making a series of red dragons. They'll all be a little different, but they'll all go through the same steps to be completed. The next step is to create the lips and the teeth of the dragon, starting with first the bottom jaw, and then repeating the process on the top, heating, and then going in with the knife to cut a crease in the glass. The inside will be the teeth,
They're all made in China.
the outside will be the lips.
Same price as toothbrush, real quick.
Some raging furnace, you know, like...
Once the teeth are in place, the next step is to pull back the crease of the jaw and make sure everything is on center.
Hey, looking back there.
Jason can now heat the individual jaws and cut the teeth into that section.
little longer, but
Again, Jason will repeat that on both the lower and then the upper jaw.
Is